callers. Please hold and your call will be answered in the order received.
Your wait time will be approximately 1 minute.
This morning has been interesting. I woke up, got a workout in here at home, got dressed because I thought I might have to go into the office for the day or for the morning because I'm having some computer issues. But I'm still waiting for IT to give me a call back to let me know what I should do. Sometimes things just don't go according to plan, and I have to become comfortable with not being in control of things. So ordinarily I would stress myself out about this because, you know, I want to get after my day. I want to like be productive. I want to make sure I'm accessible and responsive, but you can't always control things happening. So I kicked off my system, and it requires me to actually have an actual in-person reset. And so I'm just trying to kind of like wait for them to give me a call back so that I can actually get online and get access to everything. And I'm thinking, because I'm like, you woke up this morning, you put on your workout clothes, you went down to your gym, you worked out, you took a shower, you got dressed this morning, you put on some perfume, and you look good and you smell good and you're ready for the day. And there's a bunch of other factors. My au pair has an appointment this afternoon, which requires her and my husband to go and handle it, and then, which means that I have to watch the kids while they're gone. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, if I don't have access to my system, then I'm inaccessible. And so, oh, it's like a free day. It's not really a free day, right? I don't know. It's just a lot. So I allow myself to kind of get caught up in things. But welcome back to the vlog. My name is Alana Hubbard. I am a working professional in the DMV area. I'm a mom of 2. I'm married almost 7 years to my husband. We live in the DMV area, like I said. I have 2 under 2, a 1-year-old, well, 18-month-old actually now, an 18-month-old, and I have a almost 4-month-old. And I've returned back to work and just trying to kind of get my bearings with getting back into shape, taking care of myself, and also hitting the ground running, getting back to work. So I don't know, it's just frustrating when things just don't go your way. In this vlog, I wanted to share a little bit more about my au pair. I had some questions that you guys asked, that a lot of people have been asking in recent videos and through DM on Instagram. So I will be answering those questions in this vlog as I work today. And hopefully it'll be helpful to you guys who might be in the market for an au pair of your own. So I'm excited about that. Okay, I got a call and I have to go into the office, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into the office and get my computer fixed. Hopefully I can even get my phone fixed too. So I do have a business phone. Just finished my oatmeal, and I am going to probably answer some questions in the car on the way. I'm gonna turn off the lights in here, or most of them anyway. I have my computer, my bag is already packed. I have my water, and I have to hurry and go, and so I can get back in time for my husband I'm prepared to leave. Okay, so I'm on my way to the office, and I wanted to kind of take this time to go through some of the questions and kind of lay like the background of like our decision to go with an au pair. So I hope that you guys can hear me okay and that there's no crazy background noise as I'm driving, but I wanted to kind of pop in while I have a moment to talk. So Tony and I did a video all about our first au pair and that whole situation in Vlogmas of 2021, and I forget what video it was. I think it was, I gotta see, I'm trying to do this. It was like Vlogmas day 13, and it was like a tipsy Q&A, and we did like a Q&A all about just vlogging, not vlogging, about our au pair and how we came to the decision to have an au pair in our home. So I definitely want you guys, I'm gonna link the video down below so you guys can get that information. And then that first au pair ended up not working out, and I don't think we ever talked through why that didn't work out on the vlog on my YouTube channel. We did go into it on our podcast, so you guys can, you know, take a look at that, or go to our podcast and, you know, hear that episode about why our first au pair did not work out. And I'll link my podcast down below as well. But so I never actually shared that on here, but our first au pair, you know, did not have the intention of actually being an au pair here in the States. She really just wanted to come here to become a citizen and to live her life and not really watch children at all, and, you know, didn't really have the intentions on remaining with us. And so we had to let her go, and ended up, you know, having some time in between her and our next au pair. While we were in the in-between, we actually decided to go with a babysitter who would watch Ari at the time, who would watch just solely Ari and a couple other kids at her home, and that worked out great. Then came the time when I got pregnant with TJ. We decided that it would be better to have both kids at home again, and I had to kind of get over the whole situation with the first au pair in order for me to be ready for the second au pair. We entered the program back again in August of last year, and I was very pregnant. Started interviewing different au pairs, you know, went through several different au pairs from several different places, Brazil, I think we did like one from Spain, we had one from South Africa, we just interviewed a bunch of different people, ended up landing on an au pair from Colombia. She's amazing. She has been so worthwhile, so intuitive, and has paid such an attention to detail when it comes to our kids. And yeah, we went through AuPairCare.com. I'll link that down below as well. And we were able to kind of just search and find someone who aligned with our beliefs, and of course someone who looked like us. It's very important for our kids to see themselves in who's around them, and particularly who is taking care of them on a day-to-day basis. Since Tony and I are both working from home and both working full-time, we needed the support of someone who could be there to cultivate, to help develop our children while we are working. And of course we spend time with them like in the evenings and things like that, and on the weekends, but it's just like, it's very difficult to not have childcare for young children, you know, when you work full-time and have no intention on being, you know, a stay-at-home anything. So I wanted to kind of take time to find someone who a similar belief system faith-wise, has a similar belief system when it comes to how we want to raise our kids. Someone who is patient, who is kind and compassionate, and who could also teach our kids another language. So our au pair is from Colombia. She speaks Creole and she speaks Spanish. So she's currently teaching both our children how to speak Creole and Spanish. And so I think our kids are going to be bi or trilingual, and I'm really excited about that because it's just something we wanted. I feel like it's a life skill, and I'm super excited for our kids to be able and be exposed to that. In addition to learning, you know, the basics of being a toddler and a baby, like the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, the colors and shapes, all the basic things. We're laying the groundwork for that right now. So she works closely with Ariana in particular, who's 18 months. And Ariana has made huge strides with her speech. She's made huge strides with like just her development in general. She's very advanced for her age right now. And you guys can see that on my Instagram. So I'll link that down below as well. Lots of links today. Before I get into the questions, I just wanted to lay that groundwork as a kind of a basis for, you know, our decision. And you know, it is an upfront fee, and that first year fee in the agency that we work with is a lot of money. But once you have that second or third kid, if you decide to do so, it really does help. It really does help so much not to have to worry about a daycare bill every month, or having to leave the home in the morning to drop kids off or things like that. And that's not to say that we won't make that decision later on when Ari's a little bit older, like maybe when she's 3 or maybe even 2, but because I definitely feel like she needs the socialization, and that's one thing, that's a trade-off that we decided was worth it for right now. But it's been great so far. I wanted to get into the questions though, after I kind of laid that groundwork. There is an upfront fee, and then you do pay weekly for you pay the au pair a weekly stipend. You do take on costs for room and board, food, and other costs. Sometimes when it comes to having someone living in your home, you're responsible for making sure they, you know, eat and have, you know, the resources to eat and sleep and all that stuff. But other things like their spending money and things like that, that's on them. So I hope that answers some questions, but I'm gonna get into the actual questions I was sent so that you guys can learn more about it. Okay, so that's how we arrived at the decision to get an au pair. You know, the prices of daycares, childcare, having a live-in, having a nanny come, or having someone, it's astronomical here in the DMV. Like upwards of $3,000 a month or more for quality childcare. And the more kids you have, there's a price per child, and it's astronomical here. I think it's probably amongst the highest cost in the country, in the DMV. So I wanted to share that because that actually aided in us. It's actually cheaper to do an au pair long term if you actually do the cost outright and like aggregate it across years. You save so much money doing it this way. So we are very blessed to be able to do this because we do recognize that it is a financial commitment. But long term, A1. I was asked about the qualities we look for and the experience that we require. And so for us, it was, number one, it was very important for us to have someone who looks like us watch our children. There were lots of options to go with someone from Europe or to go for someone from Asia, but we wanted to go with a country and a location that our children would be able, and a person who our children would be able to look at and see themselves in. So Aishwa is a Black Colombian, and she's got curly hair. She's, you know, she has lots of different attributes that our kids would be able to look at her and be like, oh, she looks like me. And she brings a skill set that is unique to her and her where she's from. And we're so excited to have her as a part of our family. All right, back in the car. Computer issue is resolved. We're back in action. About to head home and then get back to work for the day. Hopefully my kids are not acting out so much that I can't focus on what I need to focus on. I have like a 1,000 emails I have to get through. Oh, Lord. Okay. I'm back home. Both kids are currently sleeping, but I know TJ's gonna wake up very soon to eat. I'm just like my anxiety's a little high today. I've been having like computer issues all day. I'm back online, which is good, but I'm just like, it's just been one thing after another. Tony and our au pair made it to the appointment fine, but there was a little bit of overlap between me getting home and them having to leave. So we had somebody come and stay, one of our neighbors come and stay for a couple minutes while we handled that. And now I'm home. I know my daughter's gonna wake up in about an hour. I know TJ's gonna wake up in the next half hour. And I'm trying to figure out what else I can do in the meantime to kind of get ready. Not get ready, but to prepare. It's just a lot. I feel like I'm like so jittery today and like so anxious today. So I'm trying to like breathe through it. Anyway, I'm going to probably get back to the Q&A. So I asked you guys on Instagram to send me questions about anything related to our au pair. So the G-Spot asked, hey Jahan, asked, where can you request a specific ethnicity and what company we use? And I believe I said earlier that we went with AuPair Care, which is aupaircare.com. I'll leave a link down below. We don't get anything, this is not sponsored or anything like that. We don't get anything for you guys to go to their website. Their website has all the information you could possibly need to get started. They have frequently asked questions and all types of information about the au pair program. But there's other agencies that we know about, like Au Pair in America, which is APIA, and I believe there's Culture Care too. That's another agency. So about we know 3 different agencies. And I'm sure there's more, but those are the ones I know. And then, are we able to choose her ethnicity? You can choose an au pair from lots of different countries. So like I said, I was very adamant about we were very adamant about wanting to have someone who looks like us. And just that was just very important to us. You know, au pairs range from the age of 18 to I believe 26, 27 years old. And you can also have au pairs that are guys as well, if you're interested in that or want that. So it's pretty cool to have that option, and you can choose, you know, from whatever country, Europe, Asia, South America, Latin America, anywhere. So yeah, we had a South African au pair at first, and then now we have a Colombian one. I produce changed. I don't know if it's a she or a he. You asked, what is her role in the house? How much does it cost? And safety measures we've taken. Okay, so role of her in the house. She is responsible for everything regarding the kids during the week, or during the times or hours that she works, i.e. laundry, bottles, washing bottles, making them breakfast and lunch, diaper changes, bathroom visits, playing, learning, all the things regarding and getting them up in the morning. So she does live with us. She's in the house. She lives with us. And so she's responsible specifically on work days, Monday through Friday. She works from 8 to 4:30.
She'll go and she'll pick up and wake up my daughter. She'll change her, get her dressed for the day, get her ready for the day, bring her downstairs to have her milk and her breakfast. We will bring TJ downstairs and start our work day, and then she is responsible for the kids, their every need from 8 to 4:30. That's her role in the house. Occasionally, we need her for date nights. We need her for events and things that we want to attend without the kids. We will add her to, we'll ask her to work, and she'll be able to work. The Department of State only authorizes her to be able to work 45 hours a week, max. So we try to stay within those parameters and make sure that we're not overworking her. She's required to have a day and a half per week off and have at least 1 weekend a month off completely, which we don't have a problem with sticking to because we like to hang out with our kids on the weekends. So occasionally we'll have a few hours, like this past weekend, we went out on a date with another couple of friends of ours, and so she worked, from 5 to like 11 or something like that, because we went out for dinner and then we had drinks and stuff like that. So that's her role in the house. When it comes to how much it costs for the program, there is an upfront fee of about $10,000 that pays for their airplane tickets to the U.S. if they're coming from out of country, training programs, and a bunch of other things that you have to pay for. And I believe the website, outlines all of this. And so that's basic cost, and then there's a weekly cost. So we typically pay her, what we pay her. I'm not going to divulge all that because I feel like that's kind of personal. But there is a minimum you're supposed to pay your au pair per week. You pay that minimum, and after you pay that minimum per week, that is what pays for her to be able to do other things. Like she wants to go out, if she wants to go with friends somewhere, or go out to have a drink or go to dinner with friends or things like that, that pays for that. They could do with their money what they wish. It is not our responsibility to pay for her like extracurricular activities like partying or going out to eat or things like that. So she pays for that. We are required to obviously feed her because she lives here. She's a part of our family. So, any groceries we have, any food we have, meals we make, she's of course able to take part in that. She's not required to, but that's just if she wants to. We don't have any additional costs. She is required to take a class, which we have to pay up to $500 for. But the difference between $500 and whatever the costs might be, if it's over that $500, she has to take care of. She's been with us since October. It is now January, so it's been about 3 months. So she's racked up quite a bit of money over the past, 3 months or so, to send back home to family, to, go out to buy things, whatever she wants to do. So she's really into shopping online and, finding little boutiques and things to work from, and Amazon and all that stuff. So she's been good with that. The other question is security precautions or security. As far as safety measures we've taken, I'm not sure what you mean. Each au pair is vetted and a background check is run on them. They're vetted by the agency, so they're pretty much safe to come here. Safety precautions, obviously the first few weeks that she was here, we were, just closely watching her, making sure she was, good with the kids, that the kids liked her. Our kids felt safe with her. There was no significant change in their personalities. We have, cameras in our home, in all the common areas where she watches our kids. So we're able to kind of watch and make sure and monitor how things are going. There's been no major issues at all. She's loved by Ari in particular, because Ari's the one that interacts with her the most as far as during the day. And it's been good. I have no complaints. A background check is run on us as well as the host family, because obviously issues don't always arise with just the au pair. Sometimes issues arise with the host family that the au pair lives with. So a background check was run on both Tony and I. And, it's a mutual, interviewing process where the au pair is interviewing you and you're interviewing the au pair to make sure it's a good match. I think CRE08 asked several questions. The first being, besides living expenses, are we required to pay for any other living expenses? And essentially, I guess the answer would be yes. You are required to house them, so you are paying for their living expenses as far as, just room and board, food, as far as like cooking from home and things like that, and them sleeping. You're paying the bills at your home, your apartment, your townhome, your condo, your house. Like, you pay for them to be able to exist there and be there. Regular groceries that we purchase throughout the week, HelloFresh, we pay for that, and she eats off that. If she decides she wants to go out to eat with her friends, or she wants to go to the movies, or she wants to go do things outside of our home, she pays for that out of the money that we pay her weekly. So I hope that makes sense. We are not responsible for paying for the things that she chooses to do. If we go out as a family, like to a restaurant, or we go to a museum, or we go to an amusement park, or on vacations and we choose to take her, we pay for her. So that's just an extra body. If she chooses not to go to those things, she doesn't have to, because it's outside of her work hours. So typically, we front the bill on those things. CRE08 also asks, what are the job responsibilities of the au pair outside of childcare? And the Department of State does not authorize the au pair to do anything outside of childcare related activities. She is not to cook for the family or clean the whole house. She's not a housekeeper. So she is someone who solely is responsible for the care of our children. If we need her to take Ariana to a play date, or we need her to take Ariana to the park, then she's able to do those things. Anything related to the kids, like cooking them breakfast, or cooking them or making them lunch, or packing and making bottles, she is responsible for this. So anything child related she can do, but she's not to do our laundry or to clean and vacuum or mop our whole home, or she doesn't do any house related things. She is responsible though for making sure her quarters, her room, her bathroom that she has to herself, that is clean and kept orderly, so that no pests are, we don't have any pests. So anything she uses, we ask, just like, it's like a regular house. Like, if you make a mess, you clean up after yourself. So things like that. But she's not responsible for any other related things.
Okay, it's a little after 4 o'clock and I'm now cooking dinner. So another question was, what are some of the job responsibilities of the au pair? No. How long will you keep the au pair? So typically for au pairs, for our particular program, we are responsible for her for a year. So typical au pair contracts have them come and match with your family for a year. If it's a good match and the match is going well and the au pair wants to stay, they can stay an additional year. And your fees for that second year are reduced, and the au pair is able to stay with you for a total of 2 years. So that's how long the agreement is for, a year or 2 years, depending on what you want and whether or not the au pair particular au pair wants to stay with your family where you live. That was also from CRE08. She asked that question. Someone asked why an au pair. CRE08 also asked why an au pair versus a nanny. For us, a nanny is someone who leaves at the end of the day, which is cool because she doesn't live with you. You can also do a live-in nanny. That's very similar to probably an au pair. But again, as a professional, as someone who is supporting your family, nannies have set hours and usually don't do weekends. So an au pair is slightly different in my opinion, because we have her around the clock whenever we need her. Obviously, as long as we don't go beyond that 45 hours I told you guys that the Department of State regulates. So A nanny is slightly different. I mean, a nanny is different, but also nannies also demand $25 an hour plus. Nannies are more expensive. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Is it worth it? Creo8 asked that as well. I definitely think it's worth it. Days like today where I had to run into the office unexpectedly, Tony had meetings, I had meetings, she's able to really step in and take care of some things. Now she had a meeting, she had an appointment she had to go to that Tony took her to, but right after she got back, she was able to be right back on while we took care of the meetings that we had to take care of. So it's a trade-off. It's a team effort here in the Hubbard household, and it's very helpful to have someone around the clock that is able to kind of watch our kids and, you know, able to, you know, step in when we need them to. Also, you know, it is a cultural exchange experience. So in exchange for her giving us the support that we need with our children, she's also able to experience the United States for the first time and do things. She's skated for the first time. She's experienced snow for the first time. She's we're in the DMV area, so she's experienced Washington DC in that city, and we're gonna take her to New York, we're gonna take her to Canada, we're gonna take her to a few different places to show her around. And it's a cultural exchange experience where she's able to experience American culture and also have a job that pays her. So I think it's definitely worth it. Did she have to pass a background check? And this question is from Amaka. Or Amaka, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Amaka, she does have to go through a thorough background check. She does have to be infant, for us, she had to be infant qualified. She has to have, like, you know, CPR if you want her to have CPR. Do you want her to be bilingual? There were certain things we needed her to have, and the agency takes care of all of the background check stuff. So she did have to go through a background check. Amaka also asked, or Amaka, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry for messing up your name. Is she white or black? She is black, Colombian, so love. And then another question from that same person is, how much does it cost? I think I went over this earlier. It was about $10,000 for the flat rate in the beginning, and then you pay a stipend weekly. I think there was one other question I saw that came through. Do you ever worry about another woman living in your house? Initially I did. When it came to having another woman in my house, specifically a younger woman, you know, from another country, you know, I had the same reservations you might have, any woman might have, you know, with regard to, you know, things being appropriate. How's the living situation going to be? Yeah, I'm not able to walk around butt naked in my house 24/7, but because I have another person living with me, and you do have to give up certain privacy things. But there are moments where, you know, there have been moments in the past 3 months where our au pair has left and she's gone out overnight, and we knew she's going to be out overnight, and it was no big deal. So I'm able to have that moment to be able to be a little more free in my own house. I never really had any worries about Tony cheating or there being any infidelity or any type of weird vibes when it comes to, like, our relationship. For me, it's about Tony knows not to ish where he sleeps, so to speak. But I do, you know, I did feel like I was definitely had some reservations about another woman taking care of my children, when my children then think that that person was their mom, like different things like that. That's where a lot of my reservations came into play. But that has not been an issue at all. Like my daughter knows I'm her mom and calls me mommy and calls Miss Aishwa, and it's been great. So it's been good. Like, it's been, that boundary has definitely been put in place, and any additional boundaries that you come up with for your lifestyle, for your household, is up to you. Sorry, I'm cooking some mushrooms. So yeah, it's just been, you know, it's definitely an adjustment because, you know, you have a stranger in your house and she, just as much as she's a stranger to you, you're a stranger to her. So it's about just building trust and building that comfort. Hopefully you have a similar sense of humor. Hopefully you guys laugh at the same things, like the same things, are interested in similar things. These are the questions that you might want to ask when and if you get into the interviewing stage of looking for an au pair. Do you want your au pair to drive? Do you want your au pair to be able to administer CPR on the spot? Does your au pair know how to swim? Is your au pair a social person? Are they outgoing? Are they introverted, extroverted? What are their interests what are their long-term goals? What are their interests, you know, when they come to the US? Some au pairs just want to party. Others are not interested in that. So you just have to kind of have those conversations and tailor your questions to that particular person, and understand that, you know, if their long-term goals are to maybe become a citizen one day, and that can tailor, that can give you insight into what their actual goals are. Maybe this is just a ticket for them to kind of get in the country and not have to leave, or this is a way for them to start a new life and build on that, use this experience to build on a life they want to create here in the States. So you have to just figure that out, and make sure you have that discernment and are able to kind of be ready to have those conversations with the person you choose. On the menu tonight is a creamy, dreamy mushroom cavatappi. We've been doing a lot more vegetarian meals, I should say, mushrooms and veggies and things like that, but today's a pasta night, so we are having a little bit of pasta. I'm gonna watch my portions on this because it is white pasta, not like a rice pasta or a garbanzo bean pasta. It's like regular pasta. So it's a creamy white sauce, which sounds really good, with the garlic butter and Parmesan. So that's what we got going. That's what we got going tonight. I gotta cut this the way I needed to cut it. There we go. Adding garlic butter and Parmesan cheese, and dinner's ready. Hopefully Ari likes this. She likes mushrooms, but I don't know if she'll like the pasta. Sometimes she's a toddler, so she's into her textures. She don't like all kinds of textures, so we'll see how she feels about this. I try to get off of work, or at least monitor my emails while I'm doing this towards the end of my day when I am cooking, so that dinner is ready by the time my au pair is off of work for the day, and I'm able to relieve her from the kids. She can go about having her evening, and I get to spend time with the kids, feed them, bathe them, and then we play. You guys who've been here before those of you who have watched my videos before know how things go around here. So I try to run a pretty tight ship during the week because Tony and I's schedules are crazy during the day, and there's not a lot of room for not being aligned. So like dinner, if I'm like doing dinner after my au pair gets off, that means Ari's running around with me in the kitchen. I have to watch what she's doing and constantly stop and go while cooking, which is really hard with a toddler. And then TJ being TJ, TJ likes to turn up. So it's a lot to balance right now, and I'm aware of that. I'm trying to kind of not allow moments of overwhelm to kind of consume how I feel about my day-to-day. So that's where we're at. Dinner is pretty much ready. All I do is just add some scallions to this. I'm gonna turn this down low Let it kind of like soak up the good sauciness of things. I'll show you this. That's how everything's cavatappi. It's kind of like almost like a mac and cheese, to be honest. But it's not a lot of cheese. It's just mostly like the cream sauce. But mushrooms. You could have added chicken to this, but I didn't. So that's dinner. I'm gonna clean up from that. It is 4:18. I will probably finish cleaning up, go relieve her, have Ari watch some Elmo or just some Miss Rachel or something until we eat. I know Tony has a late meeting, so we'll have to govern ourselves accordingly. I think I have bedtime for Ari tonight too, because he has a haircut for tomorrow. There's a lot going on, y'all. A lot going on. But, you know, I wouldn't change anything. I think I would. This is like such a temporary, for us it's like, it's important to plan and to be organized with your plan. Like, if I can keep the train on the tracks by having dinner ready before my AuPair gets off of work, it's easier for me because then I'm able to just play with the kids and not have to cook while watching them. And, you know, especially if Tony gets off later than I do. So, I'm trying, guys. Trying to just manage everything. So, anyway, thank you guys so much. I think I'm going to end the vlog here because no more questions came in. And I think you guys, I think Tony asked one of those questions, that last question about how I feel about another woman in the house. But I'm feeling good. I think it's nice to have an additional set of hands right now. We outnumbered the kids, the three of us outnumber the kids, so we're able to kind of really manage them well. If one of us needs to step away, the other two have it, and vice versa. So it's nice, you know, to kind of really have the extra help. I don't think I would do things differently right now. Our kids have kind of been able to abstain from getting sick too often because they're not around a lot of kids right now, but I don't know, I might pay for that later on down the line. But, you know, there's trade-offs for every decision you make, and so you just have to find and make the best decision for you and your family. I'm gonna stop the vlog here because I think I've been talking a lot this vlog. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you subscribe and follow along on our journey as we raise these kids and get our life together, just like everybody else. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.